40% of Americans cannot afford $1,000 emergency. 40%, that's
Yeah.
almost half. Emergencies happen all the time. Car, kids, what house, whatever it might be. 40% can't afford it. And I'm like, that's number one, that's unacceptable. We live in the greatest country in the world.
What's good, brotherhood? Welcome to this Patriarch Live episode. We had Instagram Live. Oh, we're on Instagram with Mr. Steph Allen today, one of our speakers for Patriarch, dropping wisdom for you on one of the 6 fronts that most men struggle with nowadays. And that is the front of money and finances. How are we to lead our family, especially financially, while being a man of faith? That's the question. Patriarch Summit, September 11th, 12th, 13th. It's going to be an amazing time. Reclaiming, reviving fatherhood, family, masculine leadership, and moral leadership. I have amazing speakers there. Myself, Mr. Steph Allen, who's the guest today, Ryan Mickler, Pat Barber of the Fathers Guild, Nate Feathers, my best friend of Dads Don't Babysit, Gabriel Mira, Daniel Gross of Honest Fatherhood, Mike Salemi, Matt Beaudreau. I couldn't ask for a better lineup of men. But we're going to get into what Steph is bringing to the table. How do we lead as men in faith and in our financial realm? Without further ado, Mr. Steph Allen. There he is. Steph, welcome.
How we doing, man?
I'm doing well. It's warm, it's stagnant, it's humid, and
Yeah.
even though that's my surrounding right now,
Yeah.
it's good.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen to that. Yeah, it's raining here today, so which we needed it. I'm in
Yeah.
Missouri. It has not been raining that much, so we definitely needed it. But man, I'm excited about today. Chat about everything
Ah,
we got going on. You got going on and talk about the Lord and man, I'm pumped up. It's gonna be a good conversation.
I'm excited too. I'm excited for all those things and for what you've done since we chatted last. I think that we got
Yeah.
together in January. So it's been a
Yeah.
little while.
Yeah.
It's been 7 months now, and I think a lot of things have shifted for both of us. So I want to lead straight into it here.
Yeah.
The word can trigger a lot of people, make some people upset.
Sure.
But I do want to know, what does being a patriarch mean to you?
Man, I think in today's world, probably more than ever, it is something that I take very seriously, and I think it's something that every man should embody when it comes to being the leader of their home, of their family, and moving with that confidence. I think it's very easy today to get caught up in all that's going on and forget, the simple fact that as men, as husbands, as fathers, we have a role, we have a duty to protect, to lead, and to serve our family first and foremost before everything else. Right. So I think a lot of my life, I there was times in my life where I strayed away from that and I started focusing on the external, right, more than my own home. And things definitely caught up with me in that regard. But the Lord shifted my heart. He kind of helped me see things in such a different light. And what really makes the most sense and what really is the most important thing is the people who live under this roof. And so it's very important. Being a patriarch is something that I take, a lot of pride and ownership in. I think being a dad and being a husband is the greatest gift and greatest blessing in the whole wide world. And yeah, man, to be around men like yourself who do it at such a high level, who lead from the front. And even as you were talking earlier, I was just thinking, like, how cool is it that we get to talk about this because we have this cool thing called Instagram, right? And we get to connect and we get to go back and forth and encourage and share. I'm just like, it's just such a blessing. So to have men like you in my life and have these conversations, it's so fruitful and it fires me up and it makes me want to continue just to be the best that I can be, not only for my family, but kind of like you. People see you living that. It's like, man, I wanna lead my family better because I have, someone like Robbie leading the way and I want to do that as well. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but I love it. I love this topic. I love this conversation, and I'm excited to, man, I hope people just get away from this call. I hope men especially walk away encouraged There's not no man on this earth is perfect. There's only one man who was perfect. But outside of that, nobody's perfect. Nobody has it all together. And I think the sooner I realize I don't have to walk around acting like I have it all together, but actually walk around humble, wanting to learn, wanting to grow, it just made my life so different. So I hope all the men listening, everybody listening, I hope you get a lot of value, but especially the men. I hope you walk away feeling loved, feeling seen, and most importantly, feeling encouraged that you have everything that you need inside of you to lead your family the way that the Lord has called you to.
Hmm.
Time to answer that call and step up and go get it.
Let's get it, man. Yeah, I I love that, and I may use different words, but it really comes down to service for me.
Yep.
I'm here to lead them in service,
Yeah.
to be of service to them, and to prepare them for the world ahead, steward them to their potential
Yeah.
and the purpose that God gave them on this earth. I'm here
Come on.
with the blessing to be able to do that. And any other way of living would be abdicating that purpose.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not about control. It's about that leadership, that service, that stewardship
Yep.
for me. And you said something and I lost it. And something like pinged in my brain. And I was like, oh, that unlocked something new.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it if it
Come
ever
back to it.
comes up though.
And you can interrupt me at any time. It's good. Flow of a conversation. Just if it pops up, just hit it because I think that's the beautiful part about this. So I love that. It'll come back up.
Where has your path shifted in the last 7 months since we talked last?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, we had a Bible study yesterday inside the brother group, which when we first talked, that was what I was doing full time. That was the main focus. It's definitely shifted a little bit since. I would say probably for the better. But we had a Bible study yesterday, and we talked about how we, especially as men, we have this like thought and the visions and dreams of what we think our life is going to look like, and when you're in your faith, you realize that what you think is not always how it pans out. And actually, if I were to go my own way, I would not be the man I am today, and I would not probably be doing what I'm doing. But thankfully, God not only intervened, but I think the most important part about your faith journey is God's going to intervene, but it's still up to you to respond, right? So God intervened in a big way. I responded. It went from being a gym owner in person, thought that was my dream, thought that was my goal, to running an online mentorship for men called the Brotherhood Group, where we help men grow in their faith, health, and leadership, to now shifting into the financial industry, um, pivoting there more or less to provide my family with a more stable future, not only as far as like lifestyle and things like that, but really just financially, just being that leader that I'm called to be, which I know we're going to get to one of my favorite Bible verses when it comes to this here in a second. Um, but we were talking about like how we think we're going down one path and then God intervenes and then something, that we never even thought about happens and we end up there. And that was this pivot. Never in my life would I ever think that I would be in the financial industry to any extent. Didn't grow up around money, didn't grow up with money, made a lot of boneheaded financial decisions as a young person, in debt, like all of those things. So if you would have told me this is where I would be, I'd have been like, you're crazy because I don't know anything about that. That's not who I am, all those things. But it's just funny how not only did we land here in financial services is what we do, but it is the most probably fulfilling thing I've done outside of what we do through the Brotherhood Group, which I still do. The Brotherhood Group is still alive, it's still well, it's still great. But this is an opportunity for me to provide for my family like I feel like I'm supposed to, right? Not having financial struggles or living paycheck to paycheck, all those things. Because I think a lot of us normalize that. We think it's just how it is, how we're supposed to be. This is how our family was. This is how I grew up. So this is how I'm supposed to be. It's like, no, that's a lie. That's not it at all, right? So I'm thankful for this opportunity, and now my wife and I actually we run this business together, and so we've definitely been challenged in our marriage through it. Running a business with your spouse is not easy at all, but I can also say we've grown so much closer because of needing to communicate better and working together outside of our marriage now in business. And so we help people in all things financial services, everything from debt consolidation to estate planning, life insurance, retirements, investments, long-term care. So a wide spectrum of things, but ultimately what we are here to do is just help with financial literacy, help people just understand what options they actually have. Because you think about it, and this is for anybody listening, think about your financial education growing up. How much did you learn? I tell people all the time, it was my freshman year of high school on the projector screen. If you guys remember that, the overhead projector on the little pull down thing. They showed us how to fill out a check and balance a checkbook.
Yep. That was us too. That's all I
That was
remember
it.
doing. It was
Yep.
econ. It was that. We got to make a grocery budget one time, and I think we
Budgeting.
went to
Yep.
the store, and then that was it.
Yeah. But what do we learn about retirement? What do we learn about life insurance? What do we learn about investing? Like we don't learn anything, right? It's go to school, get a job. At your job, you're gonna get a 401k. Like you'll be good. But then after that, it's then what? Most people they don't have enough in their 401k or their pension or whatever retirement plan they have. So once they get in those retirement years, instead of kicking back and actually enjoying retirement, they have to work and find something else to do, right?
Hmm.
So our goal is simply educate on the actual options for people. We figure out from that education what holes are in the buckets that they have, and then how can we fill those holes. I think my favorite thing about what we do is our clients don't pay us anything. Most people think if I'm going to sit down with a financial professional, I have to have a lot of money, I have to make a lot of money, or I have to be wanting to move a lot of money. It's like, no, man, we sit down with people who can only save a couple $100s a month, all the way up to people who want to move hundreds of thousands of dollars. It just depends on where they're at. We meet them, and we're essentially financial brokers. So it's great. I've learned a lot for myself and my family that's put us in a much better position. And then on top of that, we get to help other families just have better education, have better knowledge and understanding. So yeah. That's where we're at. And then on the brotherhood group side of things, we do our Bible study weekly, we do our personal development call, and it's more of a deep dive in helping men grow in all of those areas that we can help them grow in.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that the stat that I had seen recently is that 78% of people in the U.S. are living paycheck to paycheck, and
Get
I've been
this,
there.
this was from US News and World Report in 2025. So last year, 40% of Americans cannot afford $1,000 emergency. 40%, that's
Yeah.
almost half. Emergencies happen all the time. Car, kids, what house, whatever it might be. 40% can't afford it. And I'm like, that's number one, that's unacceptable. We live in the greatest country in the world. There's no reason why our people who are living in this country, I don't care what color you are, I don't care what your background was, there's no reason why that should be as strong of a statistic that it is. And I believe it is strictly from the lack of just education.
Mm,
The more we're educated on, like, and I come from the fitness space, right? People don't wake up and are like, I just want to be unhealthy. I want to be overweight. Nobody wants to do that, but they conform to what they're used to. And they think that's the only way it's going to ever be. And then on top of that, they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't know how to exercise. I don't know what to eat. I don't know, all these things. So it's like from a fitness standpoint, it's like, yeah, I'm going to show you all these things, but more than anything, I just want to educate you on how to do these things. And then from the education, now that you know, you can go and execute. And it's the same thing in the
mm.
financial space.
Yeah, it's we feel that here in every couple of days in the Lake Zurich community Facebook. Somebody else is like, yeah, our water has also gone from 130 to 250 a month.
Yeah.
And our town wants to do a $20 million project that they want to raise taxes for.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if 78% of people are paycheck to paycheck, and some of our community is like really wealthy and well off, and
Mm,
some of our community is like we're living in these little houses with no sidewalks, and just
yeah.
we got the good block with the dirt bikes on it, where there's a lot of
Yeah.
fun that happens.
Yeah. All right.
And a lot of people struggle to absorb those things, and we're there, and we live in that community too. So I am curious. Then a lot of us understand that part of our responsibility to our family is to provide.
For sure.
And some of us think that that is just making money. But what
Mm-mm.
does it actually mean to be a good financial provider for our family? We haven't had this education. My dad worked in banks forever. He didn't teach me much. We
Mhm.
talked about what econ gave me. And,
Yeah.
we don't think that we have to teach them. But what
Yeah.
does it mean to actually lead financially within the family for us as fathers?
I love my daughter just came up and she lost a tooth, so she was just showing me she lost a tooth. I love
Yes.
so yeah, I think that's a great question, and the first thing that comes to mind is I think our number one responsibility when it comes to being the financial provider is we have to be financially educated. We have to understand what ways we can provide, not only provide more, but how else can we provide value, education, knowledge to our kids so that they don't struggle as they get older. And I think going back to that, and again, like I said earlier, I did not grow up around money. My parents to this day still don't have money, right? So, but that's a result of their upbringing, and that's a result of their upbringing, and that's a result of their upbringing, and it continues. No one along that journey went out of their way to say, you know what? I don't think it has to be this way. I should probably learn what else is out there because and life is not about materialistic things, and I'm not saying that is what life is about at all. But what I am saying is you don't have to struggle. There are people who fly first class. Why not you? Doesn't mean if I do, doesn't mean I'm better than anybody. But if I have the means to do so, like why not? There are people who have, you know, lake houses or oceanfront houses. Why not you? See, we think in our head that's for like the elite of the elite. It's like, no, that's for people who are disciplined, who are educated. And again, all colors, all different backgrounds have those things. But the average person thinks that that's not for me, that's for somebody else. The average man, the average father thinks that's not for me, that's for somebody else. And I don't buy that. I don't believe that. So I think first and foremost, as a husband, before we can provide financially, we have to be able to understand and know for ourselves what ways can I grow and improve financially. So I need to be more educated. You have YouTube, right? You have podcasts. There are ways, just like in fitness, there are YouTubes and podcasts, things out there for you to consume, but we can't stop there, Robbie. Like we can't be these. I made a reel on this the other day. People love to be educated, but they don't like the execution part that needs to come after that. So we can't be these education zombies who just take in information and then do nothing. We have to take that and then we have to go and execute. So the next thing we have to do is we have to be disciplined. The only way to get ahead is to have delayed gratification, is to be able to save, and is to be able to live underneath our means as frequently and as long as we can. Because we live in this keeping up with the Joneses culture. We have social media and it's like, well, this family's doing this family's doing that. We have to do that too. So we're going to go out of our way or even put ourselves in debt to go on a vacation just to show people that we're having a good time. It's like, no, man, you're struggling deep down because you went on a vacation that you can't really afford. And then when you get back, you got to pay for that. And I'll be honest, one of the dumbest things I did early on in my adulthood, newly married, my oldest was maybe 2 or 3. We went on a Disney cruise. Disney cruise was awesome. We had a great time. We took pictures, we posted about it, but we put that whole Disney cruise on a credit card because we could not afford it. And it took us a long time because of the interest that we paid on that, 20 something percent, whatever it was. Took us a long time to pay that off. I think in the end it was like maybe 3 to 5,000, maybe like $6,000 for me, my wife at the time, and our son to go. But the interest we ended up paying well over $10,000. Well over. Excuse me. But so we need to be educated. From that education, we need to put things into play, actually execute on those things, save, live patiently, live underneath our means, all those things. And then lastly, in order for us to be those providers, we need to make sure we're doing something that we have the income that we need. So this might ruffle some feathers, but how many people just settle for a job because that's all they can get? Or how many people don't move up in the job or the company that they have because they're comfortable? I don't want to work longer. I don't want to have to show up and, go to more meetings or whatever it is. It's like, well, that's you thinking about you. If you're continuously living this life or living in this career, how many people have a career where there actually is advancement opportunities, but they don't take them because it would require harder work or more time or more effort? Like, what could that do for your family? And again, I'm not saying put work above your family, but I am saying in God's word, we are called to provide. And if we're not providing to the level that it makes our family not struggle, that's on us. That's not anybody else. So, for people think it is just when you ask that question offhand, it's very easy for people to think, well, the responsibility is to go make more money. It's like, no, there's a lot of steps before that. The money part comes later. And I think the money part comes when you have a different perspective. And that different perspective comes when you have more education on what's actually possible, what it could potentially look like. And also, this is a bonus one, just think about this. You got to change the people who you hang around with and spend the most time with.
Mhm.
Because if everybody you're talking to or hanging out with is living that same lifestyle, well, we all know we're the average of the 5 people we hang out with and talk to. So if we hang around with people who talk and have a poor mindset, they have a poor attitude, they're always complaining, they're always struggling, then we blend in with that because that's what everybody else is doing, and that's that's what's comfortable.
Yeah, I think about that all the time, especially with marriage. Is that we are the sum of the marriages that we're associating with, whether consciously or unconsciously. And there's a lot of people who will tell you that just being roommates is just what you're going to have to settle for, that it's good. There's people that think that it's cool for you to have like a work wife or a work husband or a work crush, or you should do that. Uh, or
Crazy.
that it's normal to have this a miserable marriage where
Mhm.
you're just going to bicker about each other all the time.
Oh my gosh, I can't
The
on that. Yeah.
happy wife, happy life, that kind of marriage.
Yeah.
And it goes the same way with all of our stories,
Mhm.
is what I'm gathering. All of our stories are going to dictate the reality that we create through our actions,
Yep.
especially when it comes to finances with our
Mhm.
parents.
Yep.
They inherited a financial story that they didn't think about changing from
Spot
their
on.
parents, who inherited the same thing from their parents. And so
Yep.
we walk into it and we're like, well, this is just how it is. And this is how I learned how to be. I didn't learn anything else. So this is just what I'm going to go. And we don't think that actively, which we do it unconsciously
Mhm.
until, like you said, we wake up, we notice the story. And I think you said we break that cycle.
Got to. Yep.
And so, what is the first step? And you've mentioned a couple of things so far. We've got the story, we've got education, we've got more means going out and asking for more in our job or going out, getting another job, whatever that is. But what is the first step that we take once we've realized, like, yeah, I've been running this story?
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
first thing for us to do?
Yeah. You gotta be resourceful. You gotta get around people who can help you. Right? You have to ask questions. Go to a and who knows? And that's why I love what we do because we got clients in all 50 states. Right? So we can help anybody anywhere at any time, and it is free to sit down with us and make a plan. Right? It's free for us to put that plan in motion, which is what I love about what we do. Very transparently, we get paid a commission from the companies. Like one of the big companies we broker big business with is like a Nationwide. So Nationwide, we put together a plan for Robbie. We set it in motion. Nationwide pays us commission for doing that. You don't pay me anything, right? So what I'm getting at is I don't care if it's a bank, a local financial professional, someone on YouTube that you like, someone on Instagram, or you see this and you reach out to me and you're like, hey Steph, I'm definitely curious about whatever it is. It's like get around, like don't just hear this and do nothing. The next step would be go have the conversation. Go talk. Go map out a plan. Hey, here's what our situation currently looks like. This is what we have in place. These are the things we don't have in place. But again, it's very simple of we live in this world of instant gratification, or we have our dopamine hits from scrolling content after content, reel after reel. And it's like we sit there and we've gone 30 minutes has gone by, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. It's like, what have you gotten from that other than dopamine hits? You saw a cool reel, maybe you learned something in a split second, but then you went to the next thing. It's like, but if you get off of that, or if you hear the podcast, or if you watch the IG live, or if you listen to the podcast, whatever, and then you still do nothing, you're going to be in the same situation that you're in. So the next step is to go talk to someone and go figure out a plan. For us, the pivot in this industry, it was just such a good. I'm so glad we're talking about this because I know so many fitness people relate to this because I'm a fitness guy, right? I've been in the fitness industry since 2014. Everything from personal trainer, cleaning the gyms, all the way to a general manager, a head coach, and then, like I said, I eventually owned a gym. Right. Not once through my fitness career did I ever get offered any kind of retirement, 401k, anything like that. Not once did I ever get offered any kind of benefit, life insurance, health insurance, anything in the fitness space. So now, and this is kind of part of my passion with what we do, I'm like, there are so many fitness people who have kids who are walking around and they have no retirement plan. There's so many people in the fitness industry who have zero life insurance. Zero, meaning if you pass away, what happens to your family? Your income is now gone. Now your spouse has to take on your guys' lifestyle that was originally built off of two incomes. Now it's cut in half. That was us. Didn't have life insurance, did not have any retirement. And I was sitting there one day and I was just like, man, like what we do in the Brotherhood group is great. But what am I building long term? What am I creating for my retirement and for my future? And most importantly, what am I going to be able to pass on to my kids? And so once I thought through that, talked to my wife, we had this opportunity in financial services. We understand the vision. We understand how it's all going to map out. We've put ourselves in a better position. We put policies in place for not only me, my wife, but also our kids, who, when they're the youngest, they're the cheapest to put in life insurance policies for, right? So we did all those things. And it's just like, if I never got into this industry, I would be coaching for another 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It's like making decent money, but what do I have to show for it when it comes time for retirement? I have nothing. So what's my plan in retirement? And that was the question they asked. Like, I don't know, work hard, like continue working until I can. It's like, no, man, I don't believe that the American dream is for us to retire, but also work hard. Retirement should be a time to enjoy. Not saying sit back, do nothing, because you know me, like I gotta be doing something. I'm not gonna get to retirement and then just sit there and do nothing. But I think retirement should be a conversation of if I'm working through retirement or in my retirement years, I'm working because I want to. I don't feel the pressure that I have to work. So that to answer your question again, just to go back, you said, what should we do? You gotta go have a conversation with someone. Figure out what gaps do you have in your life, in your financial, any of your financials. What gaps do you have? And then how can you start to work on those gaps? It's the same concept with fitness. What gaps do you have in your fitness? Go talk to a trainer, talk to a coach, watch a video, but then go and implement little at a time. You're not going to be an overnight success. You're not going to start saving a couple $100 for a couple months and then have millions of dollars. That's not how it works. But at some point, you got to start. If you don't start, then what? Or on the life insurance side, if you don't have a policy in place and you get hurt or if you get sick, if you get injured, if you pass away, what does your family do? What do you guys do? So I could go on all day on that. But ultimately, man, I think people as a culture, and this is just like an all encompassing saying or a thought, is we have to just get away from just being these people who just consume content and then do nothing
Mm-hmm.
in your faith, in your health, in your marriage. Like don't read a marriage book and then change nothing. Don't go to a marriage conference just to feel good for the weekend and then change nothing. Make changes. Get around people who are also making changes. It's That I think that is the biggest detriment to our country right now, our world really, because of social media, and I love social media. We got this connection, but I think the biggest detriment is we just love the endorphin hits. We love the feel good content, but when we put that phone down at night and we lay there, what about our life has changed? So we need to learn, number 1, and number 2, go talk to someone that will help you put something into action.
Yeah, the the endless dopamine is one of the biggest problems that I see for us now. And that we can hit that and then we're satisfied. No matter what's happening in our life, we have that moment or many moments of satisfaction and the pressure is off. And the discomfort
Yeah,
is no longer there. And it's like, okay, well, that's good. I'm gonna go to sleep now. And then we wake
right.
up tomorrow with the same problem.
Same problem.
And I know I've got enough going on.
Yeah,
I've got enough going on. I've been training people since 2010 as well, so I've been there. I've got enough going on. I've got enough stuff that I plan. Could I go learn it and do it myself? Yeah, probably.
yeah,
I don't have the time or the energy for that.
right.
I want to be with my wife and my kids.
Yep,
Most of us will read a book and then we'll put it on the shelf and we'll never do anything with it because then we're on to the next one because we're addicted to more knowledge, more knowledge. We want to know more.
yeah,
But so rarely do we do something about it. And part of that is because we don't have somebody to show us. I know as in my life, especially I think it's because I'm a boy, I'm a man now. Well, I
mm.
was a boy. Is I need to do it hands on. Like I need
Yeah,
somebody to do it with me, show
yep,
me. Now let me do it. Help critique me there.
mhm,
That's what I need. Reading and then doing is really cool, but there's something lost in it.
mhm,
And so if you're listening to this and you're one of the 78% that's going paycheck to paycheck, lean in.
yeah,
Like Steph talked about, he works with people who are just trying to figure out how to put $100 away a month and
yeah,
people that are going to put many hundreds of thousands of dollars into something else.
yep,
It doesn't matter where you're at. I read this book, Happy Money by Ken Honda, very many years ago. And it's okay, we have our story, we have our relationship with money. That's like our bucket.
yep,
You probably have holes in your bucket. So we
no,
want to look at the holes in your bucket. And
yep,
then we also want to look at, well, what's the inflow into your bucket? And do we need a little bit more?
yeah,
We need to repair those things. We need to look at it.
yeah.
I want to ask, well, first I want to open to you and see if there's anything else that you got coming through before we move.
Well, just that, when you said that, I think a big part of that is completely it's just the encouragement to change your mindset around money. I grew up Southern Baptist, money was the root of all evil,
Mm,
right? Rich people, if they're rich because they were mean or they did something to someone or they cheated or they lied or they stole. So, like, just money in and of itself was always a negative thing that I didn't want to be associated with. So I never worried about it. I never thought about it. I didn't think about how much money I made. I didn't think, like I said, I didn't think about retirement. Like I never put anything. I didn't put money. Not to the context of loving, which we can talk about that, but we won't. But not. I'm not saying I didn't. I just didn't make money from a provider standpoint a priority because I was like, well, it's evil. I don't need it. I'm a Christian. I'm good. It's like, no, man, you still got to pay your bills. You still got kids who need things, right? And so my that shift of a mindset is bad people don't it's not only bad people or selfish people or greedy people that make money, all kinds of people make money. Why can't I be one of those good people who make a lot of money and do good with my money and who tithe and who invest and who give and who's generous? I can do that. That's what my heart is. So it is changing your mindset around the concept of money and not looking at it from the lens. I think we do this from our faith too. And I made a reel about this 2 days ago. But we look at it from the lens of what people have told us, but not from like our actual experiences. And so just my last point of that is if we can become men who change our mindset around money, the importance of it, why we not only need to make it, but how we let it work for us, how we teach our kids about money? Because it's like for someone, if you're a father right now and you're struggling financially, it's a very real question. Do you want your kids to struggle financially also? And if the answer is no, it's like, all right, well, that's great that that is your thought and that's your answer. I love that. Now, what are we going to do about it? We can sit back and do nothing, or we can say, hey, why don't you learn for yourself? Why don't you educate yourself? From that education, take action, put yourself and your family in a better position. And then it's like, look at that. You've learned so much from that point. You now teach your kids. And then now they're growing up with a completely different experience and thought process around money. And then what do? They teach their kids, and so on and so forth. And it's like, just look at the two avenues we have. Just for an easy example, we have the wealthy person, and then we have the poor person or the struggling person, right? The wealthy person, they teach their kids how to be wealthy, and then they teach their kids how to be wealthy. And then so it's like when there's a long line of wealth, it's like, that's not a coincidence. It's from the education, the knowledge, the experiences, and then that from that comes opportunities and so on and so forth. And people can be like, well, that person just got there because their dad had money. It's like, well, how did their dad get money? It came from somewhere. And then they pass it down, and then they pass it down, and then it's just like, and then on the other side, same thing. The person who struggles, they teach what they know. Whether they things are taught or things are caught. And I think with kids, most things that our kids know, it's caught,
Hmm.
right? So then they're just doing what their parents did, and then their kids are gonna do what their parents did, and so on and so forth. So, but at some point in the struggling line, someone has to say, "You know what?" And I believe that was us. We're like, "No, what? No. Why? Why do we have to continue down this path? We don't have to. No one is making me stay here." Now, has it been a quick 180, like, snap? No, we're still learning, we're still growing, but man, the trajectory that we're on is drastically different than the one we were on beforehand. So changing your mindset around money, around wealth, to something positive, something encouraging, and who you if you were that wealthy person, how would you treat people? How would you invest your money? How would you give your money? How would you tithe your money? Most people would be like, "Well, I would do good with my money." It's like, "Well, then you need money, because we need more good people with more money to do that good."
Yeah, my wife and I were talking about money like 2 weeks ago, and what do you want to do with
Mhm,
that more money?
mhm.
For me, it was I want to be charitable.
Yeah,
If somebody's struggling, I want to be able to not be like, here it is, but I want to be able to drop it anonymously.
yeah,
Be like, I know that you're having a hard time.
mhm.
Here's 1,000, 2,000 plus
And
dollars.
that's why I feel like people who have that heart, I'm like, that's all the more reason why you need to make more money,
Mm-hmm.
because the thought is great, but the thought does nothing. Do you wanna
Mm-hmm.
think that way? And this is, rhetorical for people who relate to that. Do you wanna think that way, or do you wanna actually do those things? So then you have a responsibility, say, "All right, well, if I wanna do these things," and I look at so many parables in the Bible. Um, I look at the parable, it's in Matthew, it's, skipping my mind right now, but the parable of the talents, right? Where the master gives one servant 10, one servant 5, and one servant 1. And the one with the 10 multiplied it. The one with the 5 doubled it, multiplied it. The one with the 1 did nothing because he was like, "Well, I don't want to. Yep, I don't want to do anything with it. I don't want to lose it. Blah blah blah. So I'm just going to do nothing." And the master's response called him wicked and lazy. But we justify, it's like, "Oh, I'm a good guy. I'm a nice girl. I don't make any money, but like God still loves me." He's like, "Yeah, God does love you. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I am saying, what are you doing with the gifts and the talents that he's given you?" And like you said, Rob, the heart that you have, it's like, if you have the heart to give, but you have nothing to give, there's a problem. And we are responsible. Thank the Lord we have free will Like God gave us that in our heart, but it's like, okay, now we have to go and work like the 10 worked and doubled it and multiplied it. The 5 worked and doubled it and multiplied it. The 1 did nothing, was called lazy. I think we're all some of us are blessed to have 10 whatever. Some of us are blessed to only have 5. Some of us are blessed to only have 1, but the difference between the 10 and the person with the 10, the person with the 5 and the person with 1, the first 2, they did something. They worked, they multiplied, they grew. I believe God blessed that. The person with the 1 did nothing and then justified it in their head. And the master was like, "No, that you're cute. You think that you're being righteous, but you're being lazy."
So I see what you did there, but that was not what I desired for you to do.
Yeah.
There's the the cycles that popped in my head of strong men create good times.
Mhm.
Or strong men create hard times create strong men.
Yeah.
Strong men create good and easy times. Good easy times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. And I think if we're not taking seriously the stewardship, the financial stewardship of our
That's it.
children,
Yeah.
then that cycle, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
If we take it seriously, the cycle doesn't have to perpetuate. And
100%.
yeah, we're talking about money right now, but it's all things. It's
It's all things.
all the things. Our
Yeah.
physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health, our financial health, our relationship help, all of that. So we have 9 minutes here before we close this thing up. Where would you begin that process of stewardship with your children?
Yeah, so we have accounts for all of our kids that is we have index accounts for all of our kids that's saving, that's earning interest, and that is money that they can use in the future for whatever they need to use it for. But throughout that time, they will see these accounts as they get older. They're 11, 9, and 7 right now, and then we have a 4-month-old. But throughout that time, as they get older, we will show them those accounts. We will show them what we're doing in those accounts. We will show them how to utilize compound interest, right? We're going to show them what indexing looks like. That's just another way to grow money. You can use a variable account, which is like a stock market, or you can do indexing. There's a ways to grow money. There's not one best way. There's just multiple ways. Just like working out. There's CrossFit, there's yoga, there's strength conditioning, there's functional training. There's all kinds of high rocks. Like there's all kinds of great things that they're all great. There's not one that's better. There's professionals in one lane that thinks it's better than all the other ones. But in my mind, just how I did with fitness, I'm like, man, whatever fits you and your goals and what you enjoy, do that. Do that thing, right? Now we can get into statistics and percentages and all those things that kind of help us narrow down a more efficient way to go. But overall, number one is just showing our kids, hey, when you save money and you put it in this kind of account, this is what it does. So they'll already have a head start. By the time they're 18, we can sign that account over to them. We'll wait until they're probably at least working, have their own job. But we'll say something along the lines of, hey, this is your account now. You can put your own money in it. This is what it's done for the last 10 plus years. You continue to do that. We can tell them, hey, you put in 300, we'll put in 300. I'm just throwing random numbers out there.
Hmm.
We'll match what you do.
It's employer match. It's a
Yeah.
parent match.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm.
We'll match it. Parent matching. Exactly. So that is how we're going to just show them. You can't, it's not, we have to get out of this cycle of make money, spend money. That's the cycle we're all in. Make it, spend it. Make it, spend it. I want to go on a vacation or I want to go to the concert. I want to go to the thing. I got to spend it. I got to spend it. I want to go out to eat. Got to spend it. It's like, yeah, if you can go out to a nice restaurant and you spend a couple $100, that's great. But if you're then the next week struggling, it's like, why? So just the principle and the very important concept of saving your money and saving it in a place where it's earning good interest.
Hmm.
That is the because you save money in a bank account, you're not earning much of anything. You're not even earning interest to outpace inflation. So you're technically losing money. So put your money in a place where it's earning good interest, and that's what we'll teach them. set them up, and you know, and some people, I've had people tell me, "Well, I don't want my kids to have too much," or "I don't want them to be spoiled," and I'm like, that is money aside. That is how you raise your children. It has nothing to do with how much money they have. It has everything to do with how they were raised. You raise them to be good, hardworking, God fearing, loving husbands, wives, whatever they are in the future, putting the Lord above all things, then I believe they'll do right. Now, could you have some rotten eggs every now and then? Sure, you can. But at that point, that's not, you can't control how they ultimately act. All you can do is say, "Hey, I raise my kids to fear and love the Lord, to put their family first, to take care of their health, to be responsible financially. We gave them a head start, and then I'm going to trust all that I poured into my kids over the last 18 plus years, that they're going to be good humans,
Hmm.
and trust it at that."
Like you have said, these habits are not taught to them, especially around money. They're caught, they're picked up. So they're picking up by what they see from you. One of the things that we have done and that we're about to start with my 3-year-old daughter is my 5-year-old son. We do merits and holy cow, sorry for disorienting you here, but the tech failed when we were in the middle of that Instagram live right at the end. And so I'm going to pick up right where I think I left off, right before the tech dropped out and Steph disappeared and I disappeared from his end. We have started doing this thing in our household where we earn merits and demerits. My 5-year-old son has been doing this for a couple of years. My 3-year-old daughter has asked to begin the process as well. And when they do something that's really responsible, that's a contribution to the family within the household that they are responsible for, they do something that's really kind or they go out of their way for somebody else, they have the option to earn a pirate money, pirate booty, relentless betrayal, one of the brands that I hope to partner with for Patriarch. And so my son accumulates these and we put them in an envelope. And at the end of the month, we deposit 50% of them into the bank. And so he has lots of money banked already, and that's going to turn into real money. My favorite part about this, though, is that he has used that money not just to buy coffee, but hot chocolate for himself when we go out, but he's used it to buy a present for mom for Mother's Day. He's used it to buy a present for dad for Father's Day. He's used it to buy a present for his little sister for her birthday. He's used it to buy things for himself that we otherwise wouldn't have bought for him, which is, I know for me, what I need in my own body, in my own physiologies. I need to be guided, shown, and also have the opportunity to do and make mistakes and be corrected. And that's what he's getting right now. And that's going to turn into real money. And that's going to do the same thing is going to happen for my daughter. And they will not likely not know because they don't care right now how much they have in savings. But 10 years down the line, that turns into we've been putting 50% in their savings of everything that they make. All of a sudden, you have $10,000 that you didn't know. And every end of year, here's how much you get to take out of that to do whatever it is that you want to do with. What do you want to give to charity? You want to buy gifts for the family and you're going to use that money to buy gifts for people all year. You want to buy yourself a car, whatever it is. One of the guys in the chat asked, what was the book that I brought up earlier? And the book that I brought up was called Happy Money by Ken Honda. And it's not going to get into the nitty gritty details of some of the specifics that you need to be doing. But for me, what it did is it helped me identify and rewire my money stories by asking questions like, what was the story you learned about money from your mom? What was the story you learned about money from your dad? What was the story you learned about money and wealth from culture? And what's the story that you want? And what's the story and relationship that you want your kids to have with money? That really woke me up to the stories I was believing, but not just believing, but living in my life. And also woke me up to, well, what is it that I want? And what is it that I want to give my kids with? So that I could start writing that stuff down, my new money stories, my new money relationship, my new beliefs about it, and who I would be if I had it and when I had it. And not just writing that down every single day, but saying that out loud. And then when I would go to spend money, one of the big things in that book is the concept of arigato, thank you. Every time I spend money, instead of being like, this is so expensive, it's thank you. Not just thank you, money, but thank you, Lord, for this abundance with which I get to feed my family, or I get to pay for a crazy water bill that's now $235 a month, or I get to pay for the electricity bill. Thank you. Thank you for the ability to do this. That was huge for me. And without further ado, I'm going to wrap this thing up, guys, since the tech failed on us earlier. This has been Steph Allen, Patriarch Live. Steph is going to be one of the speakers at the Patriarch Summit coming up September 11th, 12th, and 13th, reclaiming and revitalizing fatherhood, family, and masculine leadership and more leadership within the family. Working on 6 of the battlefronts that most men are struggling with, that most men are fighting on in their lives, that I have fought on multiple, if not all of them. And most men are fighting on multiple fronts at once. And that's the front of self, with our own health, physically, mentally, emotionally. That's the front of our marriage and relationships, which nobody actually teaches how to be in, which we talked about earlier. That's the front of our money and finances, which Steph was here to bring us wisdom today. That's the front of fathering. And how are we to actually steward our children to be successful, competent, confident, happy, good people in the world? That's the front of leadership. How are we to show up as men in the world? And that's the front of faith. 3 days, eight, nine amazing speakers. We're going back and forth. One mission. It's going to be like guys like Steph, myself, Nate Feathers, Dads Don't Babysit, Ryan Mickler, Pat Barber of the Fathers Guild, Mike Salemi, Gabriel Mira, who you guys saw last week, who I've been praying with every single day since then, Daniel Gross, Matt Beaudreau. It's going to be powerful, guys. If you want to lead your family and you're already leading them well, but you want to lead them better, you want to steward them further, this is the room that you need to be in, as we talked about. It's about who you surround yourself with. You couldn't surround yourself with a better group of guys than this. And honestly, I'm so blessed that each and every one of these guys said yes. General admission is $17. It's really a no-brainer. VIP is $47. You get all the recordings for life. If you can't make specific ones, you get to submit questions for the Q&As and get your coaching right there. You get to access giveaways from the speakers as well as the sponsors, like Homegrown Fitness. They're going to be giving away 250 pounds of bumper plates. Like Camuso is going to be giving away, not this, but I have a breathwork Camuso shift that I use for breathwork. Even though I've been a breathwork teacher for almost 10 years now, I still forget. I talk about self-regulation all the time. And hopefully we get the Born United crew on board as well, but maybe we won't. We'll see. Patriarch Summit, September 11th, 12th, 13th. Revive your leadership. And that's it, guys. Thank you for being here, and have an amazing day. Peace.